Ebony Thompson, Tourism and Marketing Director for the Calhoun County Chamber of Commerce. Welcome into the Community Connection TV show.
Folks, to another great episode of the Community Connection TV show. We appreciate you for staying tuned, and we have a very special guest with us, friend of the show, attorney Ray Bryan from the Ray Bryan Law Firm right there in Anniston, Alabama. And Ray's got some very interesting information about the BP oil spill, details about that. A lot of you are familiar with that. You know that the Gulf Coast was affected, and some people think that's all that was affected. And in reality, a lot of your businesses, for the business owners watching out there, could very well be affected in ways you don't even see. And Ray's going to share some interesting information with us about that. So Ray, why don't you just jump right in and let us know what you want us to know about that.
Well, thank you for inviting me to let me talk about this, because I think, in my opinion, this is one of the most exciting things that's ever happened in the state of Alabama.
Right.
I don't know of another thing that has such broad impact as this does. What happened, of course, most people understand and know about the oil spill that occurred back in April of 2010 down in the Gulf of Mexico, when BP had one of its oil wells to rupture, and then it began to spew oil into the Gulf, and it did tremendous damage in the Gulf itself and then along the coasts of the states that bordered the Gulf. And this is as a result of a lawsuit that was filed that followed that. And it was turned into a class action lawsuit. A class action lawsuit is where you have a lot of people injured from the same event. So in this instance, you had the oil spill, and you've got all the different people because of their interests or whatever. Some had personal injuries, even some had economic injuries. You know, it all was different depending on who it impacted, you know, along that Gulf Coast area and into the states that bordered it. And Alabama is considered one of the Gulf states. And so it was included when the companies, when BP and the attorneys representing the class action group, they reached a tentative settlement. And they put together a settlement that covers the entire state of Alabama, covers the entire state of Mississippi and Louisiana, the Florida Panhandle, and parts of the Gulf, the counties that border Florida's Gulf, right, all the way down to the Keys. And then on the other side, it's Texas and the counties that border the Gulf about halfway down.
Right.
And those are the areas that are impacted by the settlement agreement. And in particular, what's exciting and I think from an attorney standpoint, it just does a tremendous amount of good. In any time there's a lawsuit and you're trying to obtain damages for harm that you've incurred, you've got to show some event that caused that harm.
Right.
You have to show to a reasonable satisfaction of a court that there is a connection between that event and your harm. And that was going to be very difficult for the Gulf oil spill. You know, we know that our economy and the economies of these states that are affected are very intertwined with what goes on down in the Gulf. And so it would have been hard, though, for, say, a hotel in Montgomery to say who book rooms to people traveling through the state,
sure,
to go to the Gulf. All of a sudden, after the Gulf oil spills, you remember nobody went down to the Gulf. It wasn't going to be that the tourism industry died.
Right.
And so that hotel, though, would have had a hard time saying, well, you know, we were damaged as a result of that.
Right.
That oil spill, because these people didn't come. Well, give us something to show that it had some connection. Well, that was going to be hard. And so what they did was they took away the need to show that sort of direct causation in legal terms. The causation now that they use is purely an economic model. that they've developed. And what that means is there's a formula that they use to determine whether or not a company is eligible to be included in this settlement fund that's been set up and to file a claim. And it's a simple process. Basically, you take the gross revenue. Now, in this first step, we're talking about gross revenue of the company itself, and you can take the best quarter, which is 3 months of that year, and use that best quarter for your benchmark period of gross revenue earning. And so it has to be, though, one of the last 3 quarters of the year, because you're going to compare it to that same quarter in 2 different places later.
Right.
But right now, in the first instance, what you do is you pick your best quarter for revenue generated, that's gross revenue, during that 2007-2009 time frame. Pick the best one you have. Then you take that period and you compare it to the same period in 2010, after April 2010. And if you show a 15% decrease in your net revenue, in your gross revenues, then you satisfy the first leg of this V that you have to satisfy. Then you've got your bottom, on the 2010 level. Mm-hmm. You look to see if there's a 10% increase into 2011. Right. So you got to come down 15 and up 10 to get in 2011 to be able to qualify automatically.
Right.
So if you show that, you don't have to show that loss had anything to do with the Gulf oil spill. You don't have to show it had anything to do with anything.
It's what they're allowing.
It's what it's a simple accounting process, a mathematical process. Show the 15% loss and then show the 10% increase. I have one client I'm helping, and he was telling me, he said, Ray, my loss actually was before 2010. The economy was doing so poorly, in 2007, 8, and 9 anyway. He said, my loss occurred before that. It was tanking. And he said, I don't know that I qualify. Well, because you can pick and choose the best quarter that you want to out of those years, what you do then is he said his loss was in 2009. We went to 2008. And so we picked his best revenue quarter there and compared it, and sure enough,
right,
you got the 15% down.
Sure.
And so, but there are exceptions to if you can't make the 10% increase in 2011. There are exceptions that you can look to if it's outside of your ability to have affected it. For instance, if your business had a road to close, they use as an example. Or I have a client that I'm helping, and he had a health issue. He was their major salesperson in his company. And so in 2010, he became ill, and he wasn't able to work the way that he had, but he had the 15% decrease. He just shouldn't show the 10% increase.
Right.
And so what we're going to be able to do is we're going to take his medical history and use that as a basis to get him qualified, I believe, ultimately, to show that, because of that was out of his control.
Sure.
And so that would be something that could qualify and show why it didn't increase.
Right.
So if you can meet that V, then you qualify. That satisfies what normally would have been the need to show a direct cause.
Right.
That's all you have to show now is the loss of revenue. So if you can do that, you meet that V, if you satisfy that initial step, you're through the door. Right. And you qualify. Now it's just a matter of how much you're going to recover.
Right.
And this is what they do there. This is the second step. They look to the second step to try to compensate you for your lost net.
Gotcha.
Net profits. They're not going to give you the revenue that you would have earned and not take into account that you would have normally had business expenses and other things that would have been involved in your having to spend that in order to generate that revenue.
Right.
But what they're doing is they're looking to compare that period of net profits in 2011 to your benchmark period in that period of time between 2007 and 2009. Gotcha. And that's where you're going to look to see the difference. And in that instance, there's a lot of accounting that's going to be involved in this for some companies. Some it won't be as much. But you take your net revenue, compare it to what that benchmark revenue would have been, and you get the difference of that. So if you had your benchmark period, you had $100,000 net revenue, and then or net profit. And then in that benchmark period in 2011, you had a $50,000 net profit, that it had decreased. You would be entitled to a $50,000 check out of that fund. Wow. In addition to that, there's a premium that's paid on that as an additional, and for lack of a better word, I think it's sort of like punitive damages, or it's an amount to compensate you for other losses that, understanding that's not going to be all that will be able to compensate for that period of time. They said, we're going to give you, depending on where you live, we're going to give you an additional amount over and above that percentage, that amount that you claim and we approve as being your loss of net profits. This goes all the way to the Tennessee line. So, it's just all the way to the Tennessee line, from the Gulf to the Tennessee line. We're considered a Gulf state.
Right.
And so your company is included. It doesn't matter what you're involved in. There's only a few companies excluded. Banks and financial institutions are excluded. Casinos are excluded.
Right. And
we don't have any of those around here.
Sure.
But and then governmental organizations are excluded. But it does include for-profit companies, like anyone out there that's mom and pop stores to major corporations. It does not matter. And and then it also includes nonprofit. So and I want to make this clear. Nonprofit means charitable organizations in your church.
Yeah.
Now you think about this, and what they did in thinking about how to come about the settlement, they were trying to see, how can we compensate for what we know occurred, in the economies of these states, and as a result of this spill. Well, naturally, what do we do with our monies that we earn? We tithe at church, and we give to charitable organizations.
Right.
When your income is affected and it goes down, or you lose it,
everything's affected.
It all gets affected.
Well, on that note, folks, we're going to come right back with some more information from Ray. That's great information, very well needed out here. We need to know this. So we thank you for sharing that. Stay with us. We'll be right back, folks, with Ray. And don't touch that remote, and hang on for the business spotlight, folks. Stay connected.
Opportunity is knocking. We're ERA King Real Estate. To buy or sell real estate today, you need solutions that will pay. Opportunity is knocking at your door. It's what you're looking for. Opportunity is knocking. We're ERA King Real Estate.
Hello, I'm Dr. Dale Burgess, chiropractic physician. Are you suffering from severe lower back and leg pain, neck pain, your arms and legs tingling? Have you been told that you've got to live with it, that there's nothing else to do but surgery? Give us a call. We use the unique Burgess method. Call us today to find out if you qualify for our unique method of care. The only thing you may have to lose will be your suffering and pain. If you haven't tried the Burgess method, you haven't tried everything.
I'm attorney Ray Bryan. I spend my time away from the office doing everything I can to take care of my family. And that same mentality comes to work with me every day. When I sit across from a client facing a divorce, a custody problem, injury, or other legal matter, my first thought is, what do I have to do to protect them? When you step into my office, you can rest assured that I'll do everything I can to protect your interests. Call the law offices of Raymond C. Bryan today.
Call Mr. Dan's Plumbing for all your plumbing needs. Mr. Dan's Plumbing also services your septic needs and provides portable toilet services. That's Mr. Dan's Plumbing at 256-835-0244. Servicing residential and commercial accounts.
Thanks, folks, for staying connected. We're here with a special guest, attorney Ray Bryan, right there in Anniston, Alabama, at the Ray Bryan Law Firm. And Ray is sharing some great information with us about the settlement information, settlement info for the BP oil spill, things that it affects right here at home. And Ray, you were talking about nonprofits being affected too.
Yeah, it includes nonprofits. And I'm just telling you, Mark, I'm so excited about that part because I know churches who've struggled as a result of this bad economy. Their tithing and giving has gone down.
Exactly.
And they've as a result have had to cut back on their charitable, on what they've done and
cut back on staff
and everything. It's just, and everybody, and of course I serve on some boards and I know what has occurred, and this part excites me especially because it's the same V applies to a nonprofit. The accounting, so far as compensation, is going to be different a little bit, but it's still going to entitle them to recover for their net revenues.
Right.
You know, after they back out their business expenses and variable costs and things like that, they have as well as other companies. It should be a cleaner, look at what their financial position is to be able to get that recovery for them. But if you put $100,000 into the hands of a church, what are they going to do with it?
Right.
They're going to go do mission work with it. They're going to send missionaries. They're going to buy food. They're going to do certain things. Help the community. And the charitable organizations that we have in our communities, every one of them, they're all struggling and they need the money. The United Way and groups that need that money is going to come out of this settlement. And I tell you, I believe, in my opinion, this has the potential of impacting this state like nothing has ever happened before.
I believe it.
I mean, it will trickle down. I've got a business client in construction, and he had the same issues. We were calculating what he was doing. He's a smaller construction company, and he had a quarter he picked in 2009. He showed a $460,000 of gross revenue that quarter, and he compared it to the same period in 2010. It was down to $31,000.
Wow!
And then in 2011 it went up to 60. So he was coming out. But he was he had laid off workers. He had not been able to do build houses and things he'd been able to do. Everything stopped. So now it looks and it does appear we're going to be able to get him a recovery. We put $100,000 or $200,000 in his hands. What's he going to do with it? He's going to start building again. He's going to hire people. He's going to start doing the things that he wasn't able to do before. It has the ability to be the greatest blessing in my mind for the state of Alabama, these other states, Mississippi, Louisiana, Florida, and Texas, the ones that are affected by this. This has the ability, if people don't miss it. I mean, and I know there are commercials on television right now, and they're just blasting television with these, and all these out-of-state, law firms. Some of them may be others could be even in Alabama, but this is something that we're doing in my law firm at the Bryan Law Firm in Anniston. And you can contact me. You'll have a person to talk to, and we'll work with you and help you to file that claim. And it'll be a personal matter with us. We're trying to make sure to get this message across to everybody. Let them know. Don't miss this.
On a local level.
On a local level. I mean, and just picture every business in your city, every business in your county is affected by this. Every church, every charitable organization potentially is affected by this. And because of our economy doing as poorly as it was, it's going to, I know that most everyone is going to show some sort of financial problems. Now, I have come across some. One grocery store that I was talking with, very proud for them. They said, Ray, we have just continued to climb. We went through this recession, and there wasn't without it, and without a blip.
When times get tough, I think people eat more.
Yeah, you're right. I know I do.
That trickled down in a different direction.
I go to the ice cream.
Trickle up. Bluebell.
Bluebell.
I've got stock in Bluebell.
That's good. Oh man.
But Ray, stay with us. It's time for our another business spotlight, and we're going to have a special music spotlight, folks. And so don't touch that remote. Stay with us, and we'll be right back with Ray Bryan.
Planning an event? Be sure to call Top Notch Events and Rentals. They have all that you need for all of your wedding and special rental needs. Inflatable bounce houses, slides and vending, lighting and draperies. Don't forget about their fantastic line of formal wear. That's Top Notch Events and Rentals, located in Anniston, Alabama, 239-4950. Welcome in to Creations Salon. Located at 600 Quintard Avenue, Anniston, Alabama. Great services for men and women. Haircuts, highlights, hair extensions, special occasion hair and makeup. Be sure to visit Creation Salon for your nail spa and your pedicure needs. Also, tanning services. So be sure to visit Creations Salon. Be sure to go out to Jacksonville Auto Sales and see the great selection of vehicles that they have there for you. We're talking about sports cars, family cars, and trucks of many varieties. Be sure to get out there and see them at Pelham Road South, Jacksonville, just across from the Jacksonville Walmart. If you're listening to us from the Lincoln, Heflin, or Gadsden areas, be sure to make the drive because it is worth it. Go see Marty Boyles at Jacksonville Auto Sales, 256-365-1616. This time, we would like to feature our very special guest, 50/50.
Cowboy, we were riding out one dark and muggy day. Gonna reach he rested as he went along his way. Lord, it was a mighty hurry, realized as he saw like the ragged skies and nobody draw. Ranch was still on fire and there was no made of steel. There was a black tin sunny and their hot bread you could feel. Above the beer went through him and it thundered to the sky. So the riders coming hard, heard their mama cry. Yippee-yi-yi. Their shirts all full of sweat. Riding hard up in the hearse, but they ain't come yet. They got right fire rolling, they raised up in the sky. There's a snorting fire right on the Enterprise. Yippee-yi-yi. say the girl sometimes are acting underage. The cat will change your ways of her hair, you will ride. Right next to her, only's in the sky.
Opportunity is knocking. We're ERA King Real Estate. To buy or sell real estate today, you need solutions that will pay. Opportunity is knocking at your door. It's what you're looking for. Opportunity is knocking. We're ERA King Real Estate.
Looking for a dependable cleaning company that you can trust with your home? Be sure to call Pam Martin at White Glove Cleaning Company. We give your house the white glove treatment. Licensed, bonded, and insured. Call today for a free estimate. 239-7333 or 831-6577. White Glove Cleaning Company.
Welcome back, folks. We thank you for staying connected into our show. Don't forget, keep on tuning in and tell your friends every Thursday night right here in your local cable channel, Cable 1, Channel 2, Thursday night, 7 p.m. prime time. We're here with our special guest, local attorney Ray Bryan, at the Anniston location at the Ray Bryan Law Firm. And he's been sharing some great information about the BP oil spill settlements and things that affects us right here in Calhoun County, Gadsden, Heflin, in this direct area, even just the whole state of Alabama, period. So Ray, tell us just what do you want to close out with to let everybody know, just to kind of re-emphasize what they need to do as business owners or for the people that know business owners.
I just really want to encourage everyone, be sure, get your numbers out, get your profit and loss statements, go back and look and see what your revenue was during those years, 2007 to 2009, and take your best quarter and compare it to 2010 in the same time period, and then compare it to 2011, and you can look to see generally if you're going to be able to qualify. I would be glad to help people to do that. But I want to make sure to whoever we're talking to out there, don't get caught up in it, the confusion, try to say, well, I don't know what all that is. Let us do it. I'll be glad to help you to walk through that and to get that process started and let you see whether or not you're going to qualify. But don't just, I know that some people are watching this and say, well, I don't have a company. Well, you work for a company. You want to be a hero for your boss. You tell them about this and make sure they understand that it's available to them. And I can promise you may get a raise out of it. It has the potential. I think, as I was saying, I think this has the potential to be one of the greatest blessings for this state. And we're going to be helping as many people as you can. You don't have to be local. I mean, it's one of those things. If you got somebody in Huntsville, it's all the way to the Tennessee line. Right. So if you have a company that you're involved in, and it's open to individuals now, and the individuals that want to file claims, there are particular requirements for them, but I would be glad to help you to direct you through that as well. I had one gentleman who had a condominium down there that we had called to talk and asked about that. So yes, it definitely affects individuals. And there are things that are available that you should be looking into. Don't let this opportunity get by and not take advantage of it. Right. I really don't. I doubt you'll see this again in your lifetime, if ever.
Probably so. I think you're
I
absolutely
hope we
right.
don't.
Yeah, right. It'd be great if we don't.
Right.
Actually. But that was such a horrible catastrophe, and affected so many things. And as you heard, it affects things we didn't even realize. So things you don't even think about in everyday life with business. So, well, Ray, we thank you for being here with us, for sharing your time with everybody. Such helpful information. And I'm going to tell you, folks, Ray is the kind of guy, he's a good-hearted person that's not just trying to get business for himself. He just wants you to know about it. Whether you use him or not, he cares about the community, and he wants you to know what's out there, what's going on, because he's concerned for this community, and we appreciate that, Ray, that you are, have that heart for the community. We thank you for that.
Thank you, Mark, and I just so much appreciate you letting me be here. And again, if they don't call me, call somebody. Don't let this go.
But call Ray. Call Ray. There's his information right there, folks, and he really cares about you, and he'll be glad to do all he can do to help you out. So, folks, stay connected. Stay tuned for next week, and same time, same channel. Tell your friends who are not on Cable One to tune in on Facebook. Right there's our Facebook address. Just type in local and then TV show, and we'll pop right up there, folks. So stay connected, and we'll see you next week.